Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us with Talk with the People. So now I want you to think back to 2011. I want you to remember you're on a train platform. You're heading home from work. There's no train times. There's no cell service. You've got no idea if the trains are even running. And you're not even sure when you're going to get home. And then all of a sudden, from above, you hear a voice.
The next downtown 4 train is arriving in 5 minutes. Please stand away from the platform edge.
It's a voice millions of people across the world know as the sound of New York City, as the sound for those of us who call this city home, the sound of home. And today, I am excited to talk to the person behind this voice, Bernie Wagenblast. Bernie, how are you? So good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us on Talk with the People.
My pleasure.
Well, Bernie, I think the first question is, how does someone discover that they have a passion for voice acting?
Well, for me, it started with radio. I fell in love with radio in about 5th grade and decided that I wanted to be on the radio. When I talk to young people, I tell them, radio back then was kind of like the smartphone of today. It was where you got your sports scores, your headlines, your weather, your time checks, a little bit of everything. You got that from the radio since we didn't have smartphones. And I started practicing my voice by reading the newspaper out loud in my basement, and it turned into a career in radio.
That's incredible. And when did you move from radio to the MTA?
Well, the MTA started in 2009. I was still doing radio at the time. A lot of radio people do voiceover and back and forth. So I started that in 2009, and it was something I had no idea how it was going to blow up in terms of so many people recognizing my voice.
Did you ever have it on a day-to-day basis? Someone who would know you as the voice without being able to quite place it?
Generally not. You know, the funny thing is that people don't recognize. And there's sort of a different voice that I use when I'm doing the announcements. So they don't necessarily associate that voice with this person.
What is it like for you to be on the train when you heard your own voice?
Well, for me, I think one of the funniest things is I'm standing on the platform and I'll hear one of my announcements come up. And no one has any idea that the person who just voiced that announcement is standing right there with them. It's a form of anonymity, but celebrity at the same time. You're in both worlds.
It's incredible. How did you to the point that you just said, the voice that you have for the announcements, it's not the same voice that you are living with on a day-to-day basis in the way that you're living in the world. How did you develop that voice? How did you decide that that was the voice you wanted to have for the announcement?
It was something that, again, with radio, I just kept on working at it. In some ways, I still work at it to try to perfect it, but it was something that I worked on. Doing the subway announcements, though, was a little bit different from your typical voiceover or radio gig.
How so?
Because you're talking in just little segments. So when I did the recordings, we were recording things like Uptown, Downtown, Bronx Bound, and then the computer puts it all together. So you have all these different little segments, and that's why it sounds the way it does, that there's a pause between each little word or phrase.
It's not recorded at the same time.
Right. The computer has to put it together because there are so many variables about how long it will be, which train, is it express, local, which direction. There's a million different variables.
How many words do you think you recorded for the MTA?
Over 1,000.
Wow.
Yes, it was over 1,000 because especially with numbers, like we went from first, I think, to 259th. So every number like that we had to do, every subway station. So there was a lot of stuff that I had to record.
And how did you hear about this opportunity?
Well, I had been working during part of my career for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Okay.
And I worked in this agency called Transcom that brings together all of the regional transportation agencies in the tri-state area. And of course, that included the MTA. So I got to know some folks from the MTA. And when they needed a voice, this was many years after I had left the Port Authority, they remembered and reached out to me and said, hey, we've got this new project. we'd like to use your voice for that. Would you be interested? I said, sure, that sounds like fun.
And so at that time, what had you done for the Port Authority? A similar kind of announcements?
I had done some announcements. I'm the voice, for instance, on the air train at Newark Liberty International Airport.
Oh my God.
I'm the voice. If you call the Port Authority or if you call PATH, you will get my voice answering the phone on those.
Incredible.
So that was
So they
some
knew
stuff
you
that I
from
did.
your work.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. That is incredible.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, I truly meant what I said, which is that your voice is the sound of home.
Thank you.
It's an incredible thing to meet you because it also, as you said, so many of us, I mean, even to know that it is a person, you kind of just hear it as the voice of authority. Life is what that voice is telling you.
Yes.
This is how far the train is. This is where it's going. Sometimes you would hope that voice could tell you more. Like, what else is there?
What's for dinner?
Yes. The one place of certainty. I think, we have a number of people who are here on the chat. We said from @Bing Bong Love Ew Jelly. Oh my God, diva, teach me your voice acting ways. So Bernie, if I can translate that, what tips can you give to aspiring voice actors?
I think the best thing to do is just to practice because you have so many different opportunities. There are lots of different types of voiceover. For instance, there are people who do characters for cartoons. There are people like me who are announcers. There are people who do a variety of different things. So all of those are good training for things that you might eventually want to do.
And do people who do announcements sometimes do cartoons, for example?
Yeah, they
Is it,
can. They can.
Flexible?
Usually,
discipline?
though, people will specialize in a particular area. Some people will specialize in audiobooks, for example.
Wow.
Or some people will specialize in doing commercials. So you have a lot of different things that people will do. Now, I want to ask you a question.
Please.
I was the announcer at your inauguration
Yes, you were.
a little over a half year ago. I think I have
thank
finally...
You thank you very much for having done that.
Oh, my pleasure. And I think I finally thawed out last week from that. But
Yes, it was incredibly cold. To all those who remember, I had every conceivable heat patch on my body. It was unbelievably cold.
But what I want to ask you is, what are the things that you discovered as mayor? What was most difficult? What's been most surprising for you?
I think most surprising for me has been that even in a city like ours, where all of us are in a rush, and many of us have been hardened by the difficulty of life in the nation's most expensive city, how willing New Yorkers still are to believe in a better tomorrow if you just give them a reason to. You just have to show people that there's a reason. They should open up their hearts, open up their minds. And sometimes that reason can be the pothole that you just paved on their block. Sometimes the reason can be that they just got an offer for free universal childcare for their 2-year-old for the first time in New York City history. Sometimes that reason can be that they're a worker who just got restitution back for having been taken advantage of by a bad boss. And sometimes it can be that you just got help setting up a tenant union. And I think that all of those things, it's a reminder that in a world that can so often feel as if there isn't much reason for hope, that in fact people want to. They're just looking for a reason. And I think to your question of what's the most difficult thing, I would say there are times when I meet people and I'm meeting them in the worst moments of their life.
Yes.
I am meeting them when they have lost someone very dear to them. And when you hear the grief in their voice, it is a heartbreaking thing. I recently went to a funeral for a young man, and I spoke right after we prayed together, and I then was saying goodbye to the family, and his youngest brother, he gave me a hug and he didn't want to let go. And that moment when a 10-year-old is tugging at your clothes to try and remember their brother, it's an incredibly difficult thing.
Sure.
And I think that we also know that while the world moves on from the tragedies of the week before, the families never get to.
No.
And that means the city also has to be sure that we're there for them. So that is some of the difficulty that comes with this, and also the opportunity, though, to be there for these families in those moments.
Yeah. I can imagine that would be very difficult, but also heartwarming at the same
Yeah,
time.
I think it shows how even in a city of 8.5 million people, even in the biggest city in the United States of America, we are a part of something bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
And as tempting as it is, and easy as it is to feel alone in such a big place, there are also these moments where we feel like actually we're together. And I have a question for you as well.
Okay.
Which is, what is your favorite New York City subway experience?
I think my favorite is around the holidays every year in December, the New York City or the New York Transit Museum
Yes.
runs the holiday
Yes.
train. And they bring out these old subway cars from the 1940s and earlier. And people dress up to fit the time period that those subway cars existed.
That's incredible.
And my colleague who voices some of the subway announcements, Charlie Pellet. So Charlie's the guy that says, "Stand clear of the closing doors, please." And he and I will do live announcements on the train.
Wow.
And people just eat that up. It's a wonderful experience.
Is that
to
planned? Like you do it with the MTA, or you choose to do it?
We just choose to do it together.
Oh my God.
So we are on the subway car. And,
I want to be there this year.
Okay.
I will have to follow up with you.
That would
You're
be
doing
great.
them live?
yes, we do it live.
Have you ever done announcements in your MTA voice for non-MTA things?
Oh, I've done some charity events where the so-called voice of God off stage, and you're announcing somebody, and then I'll switch to the subway voice, and that always gets a reaction. In fact, at your inauguration, I had the opportunity to introduce myself at the beginning, and I said my name, and that got a little applause. But then I said, and I'm probably the voice you better recognize as saying, "Please stand away from the platform edge," and then the crowd really recognized who it was. So that was a lot of fun.
I can relate. I can relate to that feeling, because when I hear you speak, it's the same moment of recognition that this person lives and breathes among us, and that we're here together in the same space. Okay. Oh, please.
Well, I want to add, since we're talking about subways.
Yes.
What was your favorite New York City subway experience?
Wow. My favorite New York City subway experience.
And maybe your funniest. Maybe they're the same thing.
I used to struggle with claustrophobia. And you may recall 2017 was called the Summer of Hell,
Yes.
where we were at a peak in terms of train delays, stoppages. And that was exactly the time where I was living in Morningside Heights and commuting to Bay Ridge. So that was about an hour and a half each way. I would take the 1 to the 2 to the N to the R. And it was on the N, typically right before Atlantic Avenue, that there would almost always be a stoppage in the tunnel. And in those moments, I would start to feel this just like creeping paralysis and this anxiety reaching a fever pitch. And in those moments, something that would always calm me down is if I could strike up a conversation with somebody on the train. And there's a caricature of New Yorkers, and that we are in a rush, that we are rude, all these things that people say about us. But in that moment of need, I just found so many people whose names I have now forgotten, who were willing to give me 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes as I would say, "Hi, I'm Zohran. I'm struggling with some claustrophobia. Would you mind just talking to me about anything?" And then we'd have a conversation.
Right.
And that's the generosity of spirit that I so love about our city and about our subway system, which is that it is also an example of a public good that at its best is so good that no matter how much money is in your pocket, you choose to take it because it's the best way of getting around the city.
Indeed. Every type of New Yorker is on the subway.
That's the dream. That's the dream. And I know we have a few people from chat who are asking a couple things. I think this one is for you.
Okay. Oh, let's see. GLHF Pledge Lime Crime Live. Boy.
Quite the name.
Well, there's another one about, L'Oreal Crean.
Well, I'll actually.
I'm sorry.
Read that one, Bernie.
Okay,
it
I'm
says,
sorry.
It says, guys, if you're gonna pre-record, you gotta not make it so obvious. GLHF pledges Lime Crime Live. You just committed a live crime live because you accused us of something that's not true. If we were pre-recording, could I do this? I could.
Right.
But could I mention your name and then respond to you? I could not. So Still struggling with chat and streaming, but not pre-recording. Not yet. That's when we get really lazy with it. But there is a question here for you. Lorelei Cran.
Yes.
Oh, a question for me. But
Yes.
you can ask it to me. Yes.
Okay. Her question, or their question, is: Hi, Zohran. Can you tell the stream about the $15 million for gender affirming care for transgender New Yorkers?
Yes, absolutely I can. Thank you very much, my friend, for asking this. And thank you very much for your advocacy on this issue. We know that here in New York City, one of the many things that we're so proud of when it comes to our city is that we have been a haven for queer people across the country and across the world. And it's part of our city's history, and it's part of what so many love about this city. And we also know that this is a moment in time where we have a federal administration that is deeply hostile to the very existence of queer people, and especially trans people. And so we made a decision earlier this year, and we put forward our budget to invest $15 million to start to deliver gender-affirming care for trans New Yorkers. And this is part of a larger commitment to the health and well-being of trans New Yorkers, both by creating our first ever Office of LGBTQIA+ Affairs, headed by the incredible Taylor Brown, which is finally giving a home to the needs of queer New Yorkers in a way that hasn't been done before in city government, and also by registering our opposition to the federal government's attempt at being able to gain access to the private medical records of trans youth right here in New York City. And so these are a few of the ways that we're standing up, but I thank you for your advocacy and for leading the way. And I think we have, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What was it like coming out as a trans woman?
I think for most trans people, that is one of the scariest moments in your life because you're not really sure what this is going to be like. You have your hopes and dreams of what it's going to be like, but you don't know what it's going to be like until you actually do it. And it's a little awkward when you're doing that transition because, again, you have so many years of experience living in one gender and now you're switching to another gender. In my case, I figured in that first June, which would have been June of 2023, that there would be some local interest with the local media because I was a known voice for New York. But come July 1st, after Pride Month was over, we would go on to other things. I was shocked that the interest continued, not just within New York City, but nationally and even internationally, that I was doing interviews with media from Germany, Brazil, Japan. All these places were interested in the story. And I think even one of the more surprising parts of it has been something that I never anticipated, that suddenly I've become part of the Broadway world. And I don't mean on the one train underneath Broadway.
Yes.
That it started a couple of years ago when Lin-Manuel Miranda asked me to be the voice of the train announcer on the Warriors album that he had created. Of course, an iconic New York movie that he recreated into a concept album that's now being brought to Broadway. And that has led to other things. Well, first of all, to work with Lin-Manuel Miranda was outside of any concept of possibilities that I had had. But I ended up doing with Cats the Jellicle Ball. I was a guest judge for that, did a music video shot on the subway.
Amazing.
So all these kinds of crazy things that have been going on.
I think a lot of that is also a reflection of the fact that you and your voice are a part of the tapestry of our city. And it's a city that means so much to so many of us. And it's a joy to be able to engage with that, especially when there's a lot of modern life that feels as if it's mechanical.
Yes.
That feels maybe even that it's automated. And then to have a living, breathing person who was this voice that gave you instruction, that gave you some clarity in a moment. You know, as I was saying in the beginning, there were times when we'd hear your voice, we wouldn't have a train time, we wouldn't have cell service, we wouldn't have any other way to know. And then there it was. And I'm so glad that you are living these multiple lives now, whether it be in arts and culture, MTA. It's amazing.
It's been amazing to me. We have another question.
Please.
From Mossy Grass, GR4SS.
We hope that's how to pronounce your name. Let us know in chat if that's not.
Mayor Mamdani, what are goals you have set for New York City a year from now?
Okay, I will give you two goals. Goal number one is that I witness Bernie performing the announcements live on the holiday train. I want to make sure that I actually do that. Goal number two, just earlier this week, we announced that we had actually met the demand for the 2,000 free childcare seats for 2-year-olds. We had about 5,700 applicants, and we're rolling out these first 2,000 or so seats later in the fall. A year from now, our goal and our commitment to New Yorkers is we're going to go from 2,000 seats of free childcare for 2-year-olds to 12,000 seats of free childcare for 2-year-olds. And so by this point next year, we will have finished the application process, I would expect. And the reason this matters is we're talking about the subway. One of the beautiful things about the subway is that for many New Yorkers, it feels within reach. Childcare is something that doesn't, because the average cost of childcare in our city is $20,000. That's considered a good deal in New York City. Some parents are paying up to $40,000. So when you are able to deliver universal childcare for 2-year-olds, you are saving those parents anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. Wow. And we're starting with 2,000 families this year. The goal, the commitment, is to deliver that for 12,000 families next year.
Wow. Pretty impressive.
You know, that's like trying to do the math. How many subway rides into $20,000? Don't ask us. Do not ask us. Okay, I've got a question from Prime Clocko. Question for Bernie. Given the current wave of anti-trans rhetoric in the country, how does Bernie manage to keep her energy so bright? How does Bernie manage to keep her head held high? She's such an inspiration. Thanks a ton and much love from a fellow trans gal.
Well, I would say that a big part of that for me has been the love I've received back from New Yorkers. That has been so affirming and encouraging to me. You know, I talked before about I wasn't sure what this was going to be like when I started my transition. I had no idea that I would feel such an outpouring of love from New Yorkers. I was one of the grand marshals for the New York City Pride March in June. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And as we're going down Fifth Avenue, and I'm sitting in the back of a convertible, to hear people cheering for me gives me enough energy to go on for a whole nother year or longer. Those kinds of things are just amazing to me. And that love is really something that I want to return. I want to do what I can. There's that quote from the Spider-Man movie about, I think, to one who's been given much power comes,
From
much
Uncle
responsibility.
Ben.
Yes.
From Uncle
yes.
Ben. Yes.
And I feel that in my life. I have been the person who has a lot of privilege, and I want to be able to do what I can to improve life for other trans people.
Pay it forward.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think you're very much doing that.
Thank you.
And I think it's just a beautiful example of the fact that this is what home looks like and feels like. And to that person who asked that question, you two are at home.
And we've got another question for you. This is
yes.
from Walking Wiki 686.
Right?
Mayor, can you tell us more about how you're planning to build more affordable housing?
Yes, I can. Absolutely. So as some of you may know, we've made a commitment to build 200,000 affordable homes over the next 10 years. And recently, we actually went on a double-decker bus tour of the Bronx.
Wow.
Because what better way to see the Bronx? Come on, you got to get on the double-decker bus, which is actually the first time I've ever been on a double-decker bus in New York City.
Okay.
Because usually, you don't move around the city that you live in as a tourist.
Right.
And double-decker buses are primarily for tourists, but it was great. Very close to the stop signs. And the reason we went on that bus was to bring to life something called the Lift Tracker, the Lift Report. Now, this is a report about the city-owned pieces of land that we have where we can build affordable housing. And we saw 3 different sites, and these were sites that were designated as sites for affordable housing, some even up to 8 years ago, and yet they look as if they did then. There's been delays. There's been the kinds of inaction that for too many people have come to typify local government. And what we showcased is that thanks to the work that we've done through our speed task force, through our Lift report, these are the kinds of places where we're going to be delivering new housing. It's going to be on places that are currently vacant. It's going to be the transformation of a library into a library that has affordable housing built on top of that library. And we're going to be able to do this by also cutting delays by up to 2 years because the big question for us is how can we move at the speed of this city? Because we know that working people, especially those who know Bernie's voice, are ones who never have an extra minute to waste. But for too long, it's felt as if city government has nothing but time to waste. And we're looking to make it clear that those days are coming to an end.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Yes, it does. So I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite subway line?
I would have to say the 1 train. And the reason I say that is it hits a lot of areas that are very important in my life over my lifetime.
Okay.
So for instance, it goes to the World Trade Center. I worked at the Port Authority, so that was their headquarters. It stops at Christopher Street, Sheridan Square, Stonewall, which obviously has a lot of personal importance to me. It runs under Broadway, and as I talked about some of those experiences, I get to be part of Broadway through that. So all of those things make the number 1 train to me, and it was part of the original subway system, by the way. It was, when they first opened it in 1904, that was one of the original lines of the New York City subway.
It is one that is also a bit of a nostalgic pick for me, but I'm going to go with the 9 train
Okay.
for that real heavy dose of nostalgia. So I used to live by 116th Street.
Alrighty.
And so it was the 1-9. And those are the trains that I grew up with when I first moved to New York City. I was 7 years old. And that's how I really remember those early days. Okay. I think,
We have another question for
Yes.
you. GlitchCon 2020 Squams. What watch is that, sir?
this is a Casio watch. It was given to me by my wife. And you can find this pretty much anywhere. So,
You got to have the exact time. You have to be in so many places.
okay, I have to tell you something. I'm a little bit nuts, and I set my watch to like 3 or 4 minutes ahead.
Okay.
And I thought that would make sure that I would always be early. And instead, it has wasted so much of my time in trying to calculate what the actual time is. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, X minus 3.5, where are we right now? So I have recently admitted defeat, and I have set the time to what the time actually is. Currently 6:28, 24 seconds on the dot. I recommend you all do the same.
And I can relate. As a radio person, everything had to be to the exact second. So that's one of the reasons I have a watch that tells me exactly what the time is.
Yes.
So I know. And again, to prove that we're live, 6:28 and 50 seconds. Beep.
10 seconds ahead of me. 10 seconds ahead of me.
I have another question
Okay.
for you. This is from randommanon_YouTube.
Hello.
Mamdani, along with your work to help lower cost of living, what will you do to help the homeless population?
That is a lovely and important question. When we were talking about housing, like the conversation we were just having, one of the critical parts of it is also building housing for those who are both currently and formerly homeless. Just recently, actually I think it was on Monday of this week, I was at Casanova Residences in the Bronx, where we were breaking ground on a number of supportive housing units for formerly homeless New Yorkers. And for those who don't know, supportive housing is housing that also comes with the kind of programming and support that helps people not only stay in those homes, but also ensure that they have all that they need to live a productive and a full life. And it is critically important that we build all of these different kinds of housing in our city, because to be frank, we haven't been building enough housing since 1961. We started at that point to reduce the amount of housing we were building, and as much as we are the biggest city in America, if we don't grow as a city, we die. And so what we need to do is to ensure that we go back to the early days when we could build the Empire State Building in 13 months, and not what we've seen over the last few decades, which is an ever dwindling sense of ambition when it comes to how much housing we can build in the city.
Let's see. Oh, here's another question
Yes.
for you. Kiki Ball Change. Mayor, what would you like to see if you could look into the future to the end of your second term? We're talking way in the future here, that your administration accomplished for the LGBTQ plus community of New York City.
I'm going to first touch wood, as we are 7 months into the first term. But if I were to accept your premise, I think a few things. I want this city to be one that is affordable for queer New Yorkers to live in and for queer people to move to as well, because we celebrate our city as a place of incredible queer history, and we also want it to be a place where that history can keep being written. Because so much of this city, it feels like the stories that we love about it are stories that might not be able to be told today because those icons would not be able to have afforded life in the city. And we know that queer New Yorkers are facing disproportionately high levels of poverty and unemployment. And that is but one example of what happens when we aren't taking action on this. I think the other part of this is to ensure that we're using every tool at our disposal to both protect queer lives and also advance an affirmative vision of what queer life can look like in the city. And I've found that so much of those ideas can actually come from listening as opposed to lecturing. And I look forward to doing that for the next 3.5 years and hopefully beyond that. So thank you so much. This has really, really been lovely. Thank you so much, Bernie, for being a part of this.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for letting me have this time with you.
Please, it's been a joy. Thank you all, everyone, and to the hater who said that it was pre-recorded. 6:32 and 2 seconds. Come on. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.